Yeah. Okay, good. Great. Well, I think that, well, we will be starting, yeah, and of course, letting in those of our colleagues and friends who have, who will have to join us a bit later. Anyway, yeah, dear guests, dear colleagues, dear Nusantara Society members, we are really happy today because today we're again going international, so to say, having an important event, yeah, with our special guests, speakers from Malaysia and the Philippines. And it has become our new tradition, yeah, though initially our Nusantara Society united mostly, well, those who study this area of the world in Russia, but fortunately now we have, quite often we have foreign guests joining us. And today it's just, well, like this, yeah. And we are always very grateful for the assistance of the administration of Institute of Asian and African Studies, Moscow State University, who invariably support our research activities and well, all activities we organize. And I'm happy to greet, I think, one of the busiest persons in our institute, the Deputy Director of the Institute of Asian and African Studies, Ms. E.Sintsova, who is kind enough, yeah, and agreed, well, to agree and say a couple of words just to greet the participants of our seminar. Only I am not sure if is Ms. Ekaterina still with us?
Yes, we can.
Oh, she is.
Yes.
Oh, great. You are most welcome, Ms. Ekaterina.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. I'm happy to see you all here today. And on behalf of the Institute of Asian and African Studies of Lomonosov Moscow State University, let me welcome you to the International Seminar of the Nusantara Research Society. Today, we will discuss a number of aspects of the culture of Malaysia and the Philippines. And we are very pleased to have a speaker from Sultan Idris Education University in Malaysia, as well as speakers from the Abra State Institute of Science and Technology in the Philippines, and of course a speaker from MGIMO University in Russia. We are very glad that such an interdisciplinary seminar has been held on a regular basis for several decades, among others at the Institute of Asian and African Studies, originally on the initiative of academician Guber. The established team of scholars and like-minded people became the basis of the Nusantara Society. In our institute, we have a very long history of the education and research in Southeast Asian culture and history. Traditionally, the main research topics were closely connected to the language, culture, and history of this region. But beside it, now we are engaged to the profound studies of the contemporary politics, economics, and society of Malaysia, Philippines, and other ASEAN countries. So for us, the exchange of views and approaches about modern regional development become one of the main landmarks for discussion. We are very pleased to contribute to the study of ASEAN and Russia in the world with such seminars. I wish all of us very exciting and productive seminar today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. E.Sintsova. We always feel the best attitude and always support and encouragement from our administration and personally from you. And thank you so much for your readiness, for your consent to appear today It's very kind of you. Thank you. Well, now, please, dear participant, it was planned that our dear chairman and president of Nusantara Society, Professor Dr. V.Sikorsky, would join us today, but due to certain circumstances, he's unable to do so. And with your permission, I just read his brief words of greeting for all of us. So he addresses us as follows. Dear colleagues, let me greet all the participants and organizers of this international online seminar of scholars and students and postgraduates from different countries who are interested in Southeast Asian culture and history, ethnography, and other aspects. I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that the first such a seminar was held for the first time 57 years ago in August 1967. Yeah, that's true. With participation and greatly encouraged by the academician Alexander Huber at the Institute of Oriental Languages, the forerunner of the Institute of Asian and African Countries at Moscow State University. And in 1990, the Nusantara Society was registered as a research public organization, while in 1998, it obtained its headquarters in the Institute of Asian and African Countries at Moscow State University. And it was always supported and encouraged by the former director, Professor Dr. Mikhail Meyer, just like by its today's director, Professor Dr. Alexei Maslov. We organize and hold our monthly seminars, including this one. We hope that this international seminar will be a great success and get a wide response. Thank you. Okay, so these are the words sent to us by our president, and now we can get down to our presentations, and give the floor to our participants. Just because we wanted to include some of our speakers, Nusantara members from Russia, into the program. We are very grateful to Dr. Viktor Pogadaev, who consented to brief us on recent academic editions on Malaysian and Indonesian literature in Russia. Please, Dr. Viktor, you are welcome.
Dr. Viktor Pogadaev is our Vice President of Nusantara Society and Associate Professor of the MGIMO University. Dr. Pogadaev, the floor is
thank
yours.
You. Thank you. Good afternoon. I would like to talk about the recent book, Malaysia Literary Lexicon. So lexicon, that means in Russia, we have a lot of so-called encyclopedic dictionaries. So lexicon, it's not just a dictionary, but an encyclopedic dictionary. So that means we have a lot of articles about literature and about the persons who are doing this literature in Malaysia. So this is the first reference publication in Russia and generally outside Malaysia on Malaysian literature. So we consider that even in other countries, there is no such, to such extent, the book about literature in Malaysia. So this is, Malaysian literature, starting from the origins of literary in changing boundaries of the spread of the Malay classical language until the turn of the 20th, 21st centuries, including classical literature. In terms of number of personalities, it significantly exceeds all reference publication of this kind published so far. So this is the structure of the book is the following. So the first part, taking into account modern scientific views, information about the main stages of the development of literature is presented in a concise form. So this is the first part. The second part, this is lexicon itself, contains more than 800 articles, including, in addition to personalities, articles of conceptual and theoretical nature. Along with prose writers, playwrights, and poets, also we have critics, literary scholars, famous publicists, and folk storytellers, so presented in this book. In addition to writers using the official Malay language, authors writing in English, Chinese, and Tamil are also included. With English, it's okay because we master this language, but with Chinese and Tamil, it's more difficult. So those who are if there was some information about it in English or in Malay, so we included it, but maybe not all of them. And also we could see that there are a lot of authors who are from Chinese and Tamil origins who were writing not only in their native language, but also in Malay and in English. And this book also includes as well some Singaporean writers whose creative careers began when Singapore was the culture center of the Malay world. So this is quite a lot of them were Malay by origin, and before the independence of Singapore, they were considered as Malay writers. The third part provides a list of translations of works by Malaysian authors into Russian. So translations are submitted also in three parts. The first part is collections of the books, collections of the stories or poems. So this is all together 21. The second part is book publications by individual authors. It's quite a lot, 43 books. Translation of Malaysian literature into Russian. And the third part is publication in the media, so newspapers, magazines, and recently internet. This is 68. So we through this book we can see also this is the people who were doing translations from Malay or English into Russian. So there are professional poets and translators who proceed philological translation. So somebody, because they don't master Malay language, for instance, yeah, but the professionals, they were making so-called philological translation. So among them, this is Adelina Dalis, Samuel Balotin, Semyon Botvinnik, Matilda Yufit, Tatiana Sikorskaya, Eduard Schuster, Marina Yediseyeva, Isabella Bочкарева, Felix Burtashov, Alexei Dmitriev, Nina Gabrielian. This is professional writers and poets who were making the translations. Among the translations, there are also many teachers of the Malay language at the Russian universities and other specialists who speak this language. Just for instance, Tatiana Dorofeeva, Alla Rozhanskaya, Boris Parnikov, Vladimir Braginsky, Lyubov Goryaeva, Maria Boldareva, Robert Korigotsky, Andrei Pavlenko, Vladislav Sigaev, Kira Sigaeva, Елена Черепнева, V.Sikorsky, Anna Pogadaeva, and myself also. So this is through this book you can see how many translators were in. I mean, we have and where mostly where we had in Russia, because the most translations were made during the Soviet time. I would like to thank also the famous Malaysian writers Aziz Daraman, Zakaria Arifin, and Van Rafar Ishaq, who acted as advisors for this book. So when we had the difficulty with data or photos or so and so on, so we asked them to help us. And most of the articles are displayed with the author's photo. You saw some examples of the pages of this book. So Lexicon is intended for both specialist researchers, teachers, and students of Oriental Studies, and for anyone interested in the culture of Malaysia. So a few words about the structure of articles, especially articles about with the biodata of the authors. So all articles in the lexicon are arranged strictly in alphabetic order. After the Russian title of each article, its title in the original language follows in italics, and the names, as in various Malaysian directories, are given by the first component, even if it consists of one letter. This is due to the fact that the Malays, like Muslims in many other countries, don't have surnames, but only given name of one or two components. And the kind of patronymics, the father's name preceded by the word bin for men and binti for women, which in accordance with the current trend is omitted in the directory. In Chinese name, the surname comes first, but sometimes it can be preceded by some European name, because Chinese, Malaysian Chinese, they have also European names. Indian names are similar in structure to European ones. If the writer has one or more pseudonyms or other names, so they are indicated in the text in italics and are presented in separate articles with reference to the main one. The spelling of the names of authors, which are first introduced into circulation in Russia, is given in the author's interpretations. To simplify the search for articles, a glossary in the original language is included at the end of the book. The book was received very positive by Russian readers. So Tatiana Firsova, this is a journalist, noted journalist, she told in her review in Asia and Africa Today journal, she gave very positive evaluation. So I maybe will quote some of her review. It will not be superfluous to say that along with well-known literary names marked by the high title of national laureates, and all of them, the portrait of all of them are on the cover of the book, you can see it now. Such as Usman Awang, Abdul Samad Said, Siti Zainon Ismail, Muhammad Hadi Saleh, Anwar Ridwan, Kemala, Bahazin, Zurina Hassan, and others. The book includes the names of young literary figures like Aisha Safer, Ain Maisara, Anna Balkis, Arif Muhammad, and others. Reviewers and critics, Ghulam Sarwar Yusuf, Seman Hussein, Manasikana, and others. And even functionaries, organizers of the literary process. This is the leaders of the Dewan Bahsan Pustaka. There's Awang Sarian, Abang Salihuddin, Abang Shokeran, and others. There are also mentioned some educationalists, the authors of film and telescripts, and public organizations like PENA, GAPENA, PEMWISI, TBP, and others, which, unlike writers, are not so widely known to Russian public. Firsova is confident that lexicon will take its place on the bookshelf of everyone interested in the variety of world literature. And besides the translations of bright, colorful, and rich world of literature and poetry of Southeast Asia, the data about it in Russia will be supplemented with new and verified information and facts about Malaysian literature, literature figures who reflected in their works everyday life of Malaysia and its multinational people trying to create a more just future for Madani society. So this is about the book which already published, and now in the process of publication there is the second book about Indonesian literature, almost the same structure, but we will call it concise Indonesian literary lexicon, because in Indonesia there are more writers, more literary people than in Malaysia. So this would be only short lexicon, not of course like in Malaysia. And it will contain more than 1,000 articles, entries, yeah. And in addition to authors using the Indonesian national Indonesian language, so there will be also authors writing in some regional languages and English, because nowadays quite a lot of Indonesian writers write in English, not only in national Indonesian language. So I think that's all. Thank you very much. And I hope that we'll talk about more precisely about the Indonesian book, maybe in some other occasion, because when the book will be published. I hope it will be published this year, maybe, or next year, yeah, because it's almost ready. But you can't stop. You continue finding new names, and so on and so on. So, but one day we need to stop. But the main authors, of course, already included in the manuscript of this book. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Victor. This is just a new example of your incredible, I think I can use the word here, incredible contribution in the research on Malaysian and Indonesian literature. And not only research, yeah, I think, again, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that while we take traditional literature, then after the Soviet epoch, the greater part of Russian translations were carried out by Dr. Lyubov Goryaeva. Then when it comes to modern Malaysian literature, then I think probably 99%, if not 100, was carried out by Dr. Victor. And if not for him, Russian reader wouldn't have been able to get acquainted with such an interesting and colorful literature as Malaysian literature is. So thank you so much again. Please.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, please. Probably there are some questions from our Nusantara members, from our guests, please. While okay, here is a comment from Anna Shaposhnikova, who put it, I think, in right words, saying that Dr. Pogadaev has done an amazing job and continues to amaze us with ever new books on literature. This is true.
Yes, and I can speak. You can't see me, but I hope you can hear me.
We can.
Well, I was so glad to hear and to see the new work of yours, and I will expect the one on the Indonesian's concise lexicon. Well, this is truly stunning what you are doing, and this fountain of creative works of yours, and getting Russian audience to know Indonesian and Malay literature. And I only wish that you continue to be creative.
Yeah.
And we hope to meet in person at the presentation of these books.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Thank
we
you.
are
Thank
looking
you very
forward.
Much. Thank you very much, and I'm sure in this new lexicon about Indonesian literature, your name will be mentioned too, because you made some contribution to the translation of the Indonesian poetry into Russian. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The comment was right.
One more comment, if possible. One more comment.
Yeah, please.
You can't see me.
Dr.
I don't know. I
Lubov-Gareva.
don't understand why there are no video. Still, I'd like to say that I am really amazed by the number of translations Dr. Victor produced along many years alone. I know him for more than, I think, about 60 years already. And I'm looking forward at publishing, at his preparing and publishing a book, a history of contemporary Indonesian Malay literature, because we have the book by Braginsky on traditional literature. And I think it would be it will be necessary for all those who study the culture of Nusantara, the letters of Nusantara, not to have, detached small parts, find one book, one short text, another text, but have all of them in one book with Dr. Victor's analysis, historical view and presentation. I think it's almost ready because, in fact, he knows everything about what we would like to know from him about the contemporary literature of Nusantara. It's just my dream. I am not sure it will come true soon, but still, it's an idea, a proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lubov-Gareva. Yeah, as I understand, yeah, we have mostly comments, very positive indeed. Yeah, well, not questions. Of course, we just have a down-to-earth question. Yeah, maybe there is just one. Yeah, when we will be able to maybe to participate in the presentation, or maybe and then of course to obtain the book. Yeah, while of course all of us are very happy it's about to be published, or it has been published already. Yeah, Dr. Victor, it is already in print. Yeah.
Not in print, but this is editing now. In the process of editing. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we wish you the best of luck with it. Yeah, just to finish.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
So that we could we could enjoy it while already having it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So dear colleagues, now we are proceeding with our today's plan. Yeah, I also draw your attention that if you have either questions or information, you can use our chat. Yeah, just type it. While I am happy to invite our contributor from Sultan Idris Education University, Tanjung Maling, Perak, Malaysia, Dr. Dahlia Janan. Yeah, Dr. Dahlia, our faculty has very friendly and fruitful ties with UPSI, yeah, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris. So we inevitably enjoy your talk. The title is Corpus Stylistic Analysis, a comparison of narrative techniques in the novel Salina by Abdul Samad Said. Moment. Sorry. Salina, and Protes novels, Corpus Stylistic Analysis. Okay, this is a shorter version of the title. Please, Dr. Dahlia, go ahead.
Hi, a very good for me now is evening in Malaysia. It's 5 p.m., 5:30 in Malaysia. So a very good evening to everyone. I'm so happy that being invited to share such a very little knowledge that I have, and actually it's my passion in this area. Apart from doing research on reading. So by hearing what Prof. Victor have done, I feel so small because the contribution that he had, compiling so much work, but what I'm going to present today is not very far from what he has collected. Two of the author that I'm analyzed today is part, I can see the author's picture in the Dr. Victor's book just now. So one the author is for the Salina by A. Samad Said, and this Protes is by Shahnon Ahmad. Both of these writers, they are National Malaysian Laureate, and they have been granted as a laureate because in Malaysia we have about 20 over now, not 20 over, how many, about, I can't remember the numbers, the laureate that been granted by our government. So this laureate, they have written a lots of literary work, and I have chose two of them, which A. Samad Said, and the other one is Shahnon Ahmad, that have written Salina and Protes. And if I can share my knowledge here. So if we can, may I know that is my slides working? Yes. Okay, thank you. So in my presentation today, I would like to share, because I have 20 minutes here, so I would like to share with the background of stylistics corpus or corpus stylistics. For Malaysian, I will show you that this study is, this study has a lot in English, and I'm not sure in Russia. This is where I am very interested to know today if I can find from friends or from Philippines or whoever attend these seminars, whether there are other scholars doing research on this area. So what my presentation will be on background, advantages, then I will show you the development of stylistics corpus in Malaysia by analyzing a platform of journals in Malaysia in Malay and English that are being compiled by our national department for me to present how many actually have been doing research on stylistics corpus. And then I will show you the data analysis of my small research that I have done on these two novels, which is Salina and Protes. So if you can see here, I think I'm gonna go because I think I have prepare too much because of the minutes. So this is just the background. So I think the background is that we know that the stylistic is on the discipline of the, analyzing styles and linguistics. And then we have the corpus, which combine a few of, database that make it easy for us to do the analysis. And when the combination of the corpus and stylistics is being adjoining two discipline, which previously we do stylistic a lot in literary work, but now we are taking the methods that being used in the linguistic for us to analyze our literary work. So the advantages that I found out that with this corpus linguistic, we can analyze such a huge text because it's done by computers, and and it will be a shorter time as well. So apart from that, we can see the quantitative insight. I'm not a person saying that literary work should be quantified. No, but at least when we say the writer is an absurd writer in the area of absurd or in the area of religious. So what kind of the words appear in their writing? So how can we quantify these authors objectively? So that's the corpus stylistics coming in. When we the next one is that we can do a lot features by knowing the uniqueness of the writers, and we can by having analyzed the language in the novels, we can know the novel, is it formal, informal. So when we say formal, informal, previously, if we analyze, it's just from our side, the researcher. So how do we know, how do we minimize, not the bias, the minimize the subjectiveness of a person analyzing it, compared to when we can provide a percentage, like a percentage, or objectively show the patterns of this writer, how this writer write their novels or poems. In this case, I look into novels. This is the objective, the same as just now I have explained on this. And this is on language teaching, which is, using a corpora, whether a teacher or a lecturer can expose the authentic language being used by the authors. So now I will go into, that's not moving. So I will go into the development of corpus stylistic studies in Malaysia. So in order for me to find how many corpus stylistic studies in Malaysia, I go to my site. My site is the Malaysian Citation Index, where all the journals in Malaysia will be listed in this my site. So for me to find researcher in in this my site will be a researcher from Malaysia, and all the journals in Malaysia, not all, because the journal will have some standard that they will be listed in this database. So from this database, what I can see when I just put in a general search on stylistics, it appears to have 27 valid articles, only 27. Because if we feel this is small, when I do another analysis on the words of stylistics, and if I try to find in terms of the titles of any of the research that been done in this area, I can only find 6 of them. So we can see that this area of research, even though it contributes a lot, how to know the patterns or the way of thinking of the writer, but the research in Malaysia is not developed as much as in other languages. So and I also analyze if we can see the word corpus linguistic. Just now I just put in stylistic, but if I put corpus linguistic, there's only 3 journals or articles that available that are doing research on this area. So my article, I've wrote an article, but it's not listed here because I wrote a chapter in a book on corpus stylistic. So it's not listed here, but what I present here is just that my analysis of analysis on these 2 journals. So allow me to share with you just my small contribution of analysis. I tried to analyze between the Salina and Protes novels. So I will give you a brief summary of this both of this Salina. I'm sorry, I mean, it's not matching the this is should be Protes, yeah. So it's a Protes. Protes is written by Shahnon Ahmad, one of the laureate, national laureate in Malaysia. So it talks about complexity, society, and and the character in that particular novels is Adlan, who are trying to find himself. And then it's also related to the religious on his beliefs. So for the Salina, so Salina is another one, is another, both of these novels in how I say, both of these laureate is their literary work is how is very it's always talking about the society. Sometimes the issue that they the issues they are very I guess, so can I use the word brave, or it's not brave, I mean it's not brave, it's not daring, I cannot find the word to describe them, a proper way to describe them, but I mean not many writers write this complexity in the society, and they expose it very beautifully. And from my side, what I'm going to analyze this area of study of these two novels is on the word lengthening, word frequency, lexical density, and sentence length, and concordance. So how this five area of analysis that I try to perceive what is actually but I can't say I am 100% correct, because the best way to do it is to talk to the writer themselves, isn't it, after doing. But that is what I hope to do later in my study, after I find quantitatively, but I have to go to the writer to quantify whether is this, what do you mean when I find in the frequencies of this novel. So the first analysis is analysis on the word length in Salina's novel. So I use in my country, in Malaysia, we have this Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka. So they have a list of corpus of the novels that they publish, because they are also constrained for us to do analyze on this stylistics, because we need to build a corpus of that particular novel. So for this research, I'm just using because these two novels appear in this database, so my work is only on based on this database from Dewan Bahasa. So corpus database from Dewan Bahasa. So my analyze on the length of words of the Salina's novel, if we can see the highest frequency is a 5-letter words with a frequency of 24,000, which is 18.6%. So when I did this, I come to realize that as a researcher in the literature, I can't do this manually. So this is the interesting area of a corpus that enable us to do the to analyze this literary work to this extent. So if we can find Salina with a frequency of 5 letters, I also find out that Protes have 7,000. Highest frequency is 7,000 times, which is 22%. I think here there is a twice. There's a twice. Yeah, there's twice. So it's 22%. So when I looking into other scholars who are doing research on words, so what do they say about words? So from Kang and Yu 2011, they say that when we try to determine the difficulty of word by its length, shorter words is easier meaning. So they are, it's not me, because there are scholars saying that shorter words easier meaning, and on the other hand, the longer words have a difficult meaning. As for that, if we can see the frequency now, if we compare the Salinas and Protes, we can say that overall, the frequency of the shorter words is both of these two, novels is around 20%. Right, and the higher frequency of short words is novel Salina, and the Protes show that these two novels are not formal in nature. So both of these, what I can say, my conclusion is that both of these are not formal, means not formal in terms that how the words from the length of the words, it shows that the novels is not a formal language inside the literary work in nature. So the next analysis is on. So the next analysis, perhaps we can make it. Okay. So the next analysis is on the frequency. Oops. Let me see. Okay, words frequency analysis of Salina's novel. If we can see here, the token is numbers of words, the whole numbers of words inside the novels. So the types here is the types of words here. This is the types of words, and then the token will be the overall numbers of words in the novels. So from here, from the frequency of words, we can see that here yang, itu, dan, dia. Later I will show my analysis how this when yang is the highest frequency of word, what does it mean in the author's work, right? So if we can see here for the Protes, the highest also we can see itu, yang, dan, tidak is almost the same as Salina just now, but we can see here both of these novels having yang as higher numbers of frequency. So if we can see, when we say this yang is higher frequency, this is my analysis, this is a description of the word frequencies finding. So if we can see here with the two, we are looking at this one is just the analysis just now, and then because I am interested of comparing the conjunction yang, because this conjunction yang this conjunction yang can show can show that these novels have embedded like a complex structure, because yang for Malay language is one of the conjunction that link between clauses and embedded clauses. So by having high frequency of yang in the, in the novels, that can show that can be interpreted the complex work to complex work or complex sentences due to the relative high rate of complex sentences. So this is one of the analysis that I've done. The next one is on lexical density. So when we want to say a lexical density of of a novel, here is just that it takes the ratio of the token to the types. Just now I have mentioned the token is the overall numbers of words inside the novels, and the types is types of words that appear in the novels. So we can here, if we present it in formula, so the formula for the lexical density here that we can say is between total of the tokens and numbers of the words times 100, then we can get the lexical density. So how we count the lexical density? So lexical density here. Am I already forward?
Sorry, please. Someone has turned on the mic. Please, turn it off. Yeah. Okay, sorry, Dr. Dahlia, please.
Can I continue? Just a little bit more. Is it okay? Okay, so if we see here, if this is the lexical density, here I can show you the lexical density, TTR here, that been done by the, the database, calculated by the database here. Here we can see the 6.3, and here is the 11.12. So from this two analysis, we can see that the density is higher for Protes compared to Salina. So how can we interpret this? My interpretation is based on also my reading from other journals or from other researcher, is when the density of the words is higher, it will show you that that particular novel is more complex because the density of the words, right? So if we can see here, if we can compare now, if we want to say, we can, if we do the research, we can read, and then one person to another person, like an A researcher read on Salina, and another B researcher read on Salina, and both of them trying to say which one is complex. It will be on their nature of their backgrounds, nature. So it's quite difficult to find them very objectively to say which one is more complex. By doing the research using the corpus linguistic, the density is being counted being counted objectively by this. With the capability of the database to count this density. Right. So the this one I can show you. I show you in Malay because if I translate it in English, it won't be how I can say, the density will be changing. So if we can see here, the word density, why it becomes dense, the density is higher for Protes, because the words inside there, you can see that they kata terbitan means I forgot how to translate the kata terbitan.
Derivative, no?
Yeah, derivative. Yeah, derivative. So whether the derivative is in front, in the middle, or at the back, isn't it? So this show, I mean, the words that comes from Protes novel. So I go ahead with I think my final analysis is on the sentence length analysis. So from the sentence length analysis, we can see that from the Protes, we can see in one sentences, the higher numbers is one sentence they have 4 words. So it's a very short, I mean, sentences in the novel compared to the one that in Protes, because the highest will be 7 words in the sentences. So we normally can see here that the novels, the lengths of the novels and the percentage of the novels are different, and the comparison between this Salina and Protes, that it shows that here, I go back here, because when this is because of the TTR just now is 1.1, and this one is counted also, is also affecting the length. I mean, the numbers of words in the one sentences, right? One sentence. Okay. So from this, it shows the comparison that different sentence length in is a significant, and is based on the finding, and it shows that in nature, Protes is more complex. All right. And finally, this is how, and this is another analysis of I mean, language, because I did this in Malay, so the explanation is here. So when we do the, I mean, this is not Corpus, because this one I have to do it manually. That I want to show that in Malay, when we are, I mean, when we very close to each other, so there will be in that language, you can drop a few words that, but then only the 2 of them will understand what the meaning or what they are talking about. So this is one of the analysis, and this is the analysis of concordance. Once more, concordance. So I take the word world to compare the concordance. So when I do the concordance analysis on the word world, so what do I find out in Protes? So when, because these 2, as I said in the beginning, that these 2 novels talking about the society. So I take the word world to compare, to see the concordance. So it appears a concordance. This one is on Salina, and this is the concordance in Protes. So my analysis here, that I found out that when I see the word world from the Salina's novels, it will relate to pelayan or prostitute, but the word, this word is not used in the novel. The word is used as pelayan. All right. So we can see that when from the analysis of the same word from different novels, we will able to, I mean, to conclude or to find out what actually the writers is trying to, I mean, to tell, I mean, not to, I mean, the writer trying to, what we say, trying to share in his word, in his work. So this is the concordance, and this is about how I said just now in Protes, is more on afterlife. In that is, I said just in the beginning, is more on the religious, I mean, area of writing. So what I conclude here, I cannot conclude my analysis, because my analysis is very small. I need to do more, I mean, research to conclude my comparison between Salina and Protes. It's not fair for me to compare them currently to do the conclusion yet. But what I can conclude is on the work itself. So I think this work is, on Corpus State, that we can do research objectively, and we can see here. I hope this study will grow, and I also hope that I can learn anyone, if there's any researcher from Moscow is doing on stylistics, I would like to learn, because there's so much in this area that I don't know, but I'm trying to find any researcher to do research together, and I would like to learn what aspect that I don't know, because the more I do, the more I don't know. All right. For that, thank you very much for inviting me. I hope I have shared something that is knowledgeable to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dahlia. For me, and I think for all our participants today, your talk was extremely interesting, and I followed you closely. It's just a kind of an interdisciplinary study. I mean, the kind of study where where linguistics and literature meet. And yes, there are some colleagues who are interested in what you are saying, just like myself. And first, I can already see that Dr. Ekaterina has a question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, please, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dahlia, for your interesting and detailed report. I would like to say, first of all, that I'm happy that such a database corpus corpora exists. We have already used it, the DBP corpus, with our MA students last year, and it is a very useful instrument, I would say, for both linguistic and literary researchers, as far as understood. My question is about the term you use, complexity of the text of this or that novel. Do you think we should measure this complexity only by the density of the words and the length of those words mostly used in the text? If so, what kind of complexity do you mean for this? Is it complexity in semantics? Is it complexity in some author's idea? Or this is just a complexity of the text itself, of the speech itself? Could you please?
All right. Thank you for the question. For in this research, when I say that the complexity here is more on the structure of the text itself. So that's why I said just now, this is in initial work that I said just now, I need to go and talk to the writer, finding whether because sometimes the writer themselves did not realize, isn't it? So they are just writing because it is a literary work, but for me to understand more on the this novels, is just that doing this corpus linguistics, the complexity during the density and through the length of the sentences, is just that the analysis of the structure of the text itself. It's not on the meaning, because sometimes I totally understand this will go back into another area, which is also my research area on readability. So on the readability research, which is my area of expertise, on the readability sides, there are argument on that shorter words are more complex in some circumstances. So I can see where is your argument is, right? I can see the argument is, but the knowledge that from the corpus linguistic that we want to share here is just that when we want to say as I said to you, we want to say this writer is because some writers, they call that they are criminals writers, they are and excerpts, or they are in this area, but how are their work itself I mean, the work itself, in terms of the sentences, show it. That's another, I mean, my thinking when I do this. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, because I also think I agree with you with the idea that we probably should not base much on the idea that the shorter the word, the easier the meaning, right? I would say that, in my opinion, it's vice versa, because the longer and more derivated the word, the more precise and single is its meaning. But when we take 5 to 4 letter words, they are usually nuclear words for this vocabulary of this language, and that's why the majority of them are multi-semantical and polysemantic, because they have so many metaphorical meanings aside from the nuclear meaning. That's why I think the more shorter words and such nuclear words the author uses, the more meanings he or she can add to this or that phrase, and to make this text of him, to make the idea he is conveying more complex, not more simple. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Ekaterina, for your question, and to Dr. Dahlia for answering. Please, dear colleagues, any other questions? If possible, I'll just ask, Dr. Dahlia, because, well, I'm interested predominantly in literature, first of all. Would you please tell me why did you choose Salina and Protes? Exactly. I can imagine, while Salina, because it is quite a symbol of Malay literature at some stage of its development. Well, but anyway, so why Protes was as a counterpart, so to say, yeah.
Okay, because the first thing is that these two, I mean, to compare these two novels, because as I said to you in the beginning, these two novelists, they are the laureates. So I mean, the standards of, I mean, not the standards and the literary work is being discussed a lot by others. That is one point. And another point is just that, as I said, both of these novels are talking on the regarding the society, what is happening in the society. So I'm finding the same ground of these two novels. Apart from that, as I said to you, it's not easy to find the database that enable me to analyze, because otherwise I have to, I have to scan the novels, to scan the novels to have all the numbers of words. So that is the some constraint as well to do research in this area. So this is the reason, because I can find both of these novels in the Dewan Bahasa Corpus database. So that is three premise for my choosing these novels, because of the convenientness, to have it in the database, and because these are they are the national laureate, and the standards of their work is very high standards, and they are also talking both of these novels talking on a society, what is happening in a society. It's not like one is on society, the other one is on love, the other one is on it's going to be, I mean, trying to find, I'm not trying to, because I'm trying to find what kind of words or kind of sentences they are using in their work.
I see.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes,
just
I
Prof.
think has a question as well.
Could I ask? Could I say something? Yeah. I think, this is Salina is a unique novel in Malay literature, because the prostitute became the main character in this novel. And it's very difficult to find counterpart to Salina by other authors. You know, because of course the background may be like this, but the topic of this story is a unique one for Malaysian literature. If you compare, for instance, in Indonesia, this is quite okay, yeah, because they have a lot of novels with the same story, maybe, yeah. But in Malaysia, you know, that's why maybe for a long time this Salina wasn't republished many. I mean, it was a unique one, but not republished so many times. Only now, when Abdul Samad Said himself published it, not Dewan Bahasa or other publishers, you know. And then the second one, what I would note here, that you know, it's a specific, it's like English, for instance, you know, and have the grammatical sense, but not the content of the words. I think it's like this.
Okay, thank you for the insight. So yes, when we can see that if we see now that we are talking about analyzing the because it's just conjunction. People why do I need to analyze a conjunction, isn't it? But this is why in Corpus Stylistics, the conjunction helps us to define types of sentences in the literary work. So now, if you can see, because Salina, as I said to you, Salina is a great literary work, as well as Protes, because both of them, because I'm sure Shahnon Ahmad is in your one of the 800s person in your book, so you can also read about him. So he is also one of the great writer in Malaysia. So when I said that I take both of this author, by not saying the other one is less, the other one is just trying to say that whether that's why I said in earlier of my presentation that I would like to talk to this writer, because Ahmad Said is still around, but Shahnon Ahmad have passed away. So to be fair on them, isn't it? So for me, this is a platform to us to see. The types of the types of linguistics inside the literary world. So that is my premise. That is my thinking of doing this research. It's not on because some work if I say young just now, if I do research, this is where if I do research in because I do new novels by new writers, we can see, I will see whether they are writing as complex as these two, because these two writers are great writers. That's why they are complex. That's why the young is high. But I'm not sure yet, because I have not done the research on the. Like you say, the writers of new writers, as mentioned by Dr. Victor in his book just now. I can see that one of the writer is a lady writer. Write a lot on children's books and everything. So yeah, maybe when I do the analysis, I can see whether it's gonna have a higher frequency or not. So I'm not sure. So that is my answer.
Thank you so
Right.
much, Dr. Dahlia. Maybe we should proceed now to our two Philippine speakers. We have two more reports, and now they are about the Philippines, about the Abra tribal culture. So, dear Philippine colleagues, I've already made you co-organizers, so I think you can demonstrate the presentation of our first speaker, who is Dr. Elsa Bagioan, Abra State Institute of Science and Technology specialist on the Abra tribal culture, with the report LAPAT, if the stress is correct, please correct me if it's not, the Tingguian way of taking care of God's gift of the forest. Dr. Elsa, please, the floor is yours.
Balunga gidam kidang umin. This is the Tingguian way of saying good afternoon. Okay. The title of my research is LAPAT, the Tingguian way of taking care of the forest. Next slide, sir. Introduction. The United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, or UNCED, also known as Earth Summit, was held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1992. More than 100 heads of states convened to address urgent problems of environmental protection and socioeconomic development. Next. The Earth Summit held the significant role of the indigenous peoples, or IPs, in environmental protection and sustainability, as they live in communities near the forest and depend on it for their everyday sustenance and economic activities. The Cordilleras is a home to the indigenous peoples. They have a rich indigenous knowledge systems and practices, and one of them is their forest conservation system, with their local names: Lapat of Apayao, Imong of Kalinga, Muyong of Ifugao, Chonvog of Benguet, Lacon of Mountain Province, and Lapat of the Tinggians. The Masadiit subgroup of Tinggians in Barangay Labaan, Bukluk, Abra, where I reside, has established their forest conservation system called LAPAT since time immemorial. This LAPAT is worth studying because of its impact to the life of the indigenous peoples and to the global village. Statement of the problem. It aimed to find out the principles of LAPAT, identify the steps of its implementation, enumerate LAPAT ordinances, and determine its benefits to the community. This is a descriptive research, particularly an ethnography, which studies an aspect of the culture of the Masadiit Tinggians called LAPAT. It's conducted in Barangay Labaan, Bukluk, Abra, in the Cordillera in northern Luzon, Philippines. Key informants of the study were selected members of the community representing different sectors selected through purposive sampling. Data gathering tools used were interview, focus group discussions, participant observation, and ocular visit of LAPAT areas. For the procedure, a letter was forwarded to the barangay officials of Labaan, Bukluk, Abra, asking permission for the study. Upon permission, the researchers started gathering data based on the research proposal and formulated interview guide questions. Results of the study. LAPAT has 4 principles. The first one, man's stewardship over natural resources. Tinggians recognize God as the source of everything. Humans are considered as stewards of God's creation to take care and sustain them. Communal ownership. God's gift of natural resources are owned by the whole community. As the response, the community members participate in decision-making in all concerns in the environment, including protection of natural resources. Communal responsibility. The ancestors of the Tinggians have established a system of a collective way of conserving and taking care of the forest called LAPAT. It is the Tinggian way of conserving the forest and freshwater resources by banning their harvest for a certain period to let them regenerate. Sustainability. The utilization of natural resources must be regulated. Otherwise, these will be depleted. LAPAT ensures the regeneration of the resources by declaring some areas as off-limits to human activities for some time, which ensures the regeneration of resources for all generations to come. What is the LAPAT and its purposes? It's a Tingguian forest resource management and conservation system, which protects premium trees, rattan, palm trees, wildlife, and freshwater resources. The meaning of ilapat is to prohibit, iparit in Iloco, the harvest of resources for a certain period to reproduce, to regenerate for a year or more for the present and future generations. Purposes of LAPAT is the sustainability of forest and freshwater resources, protection and maintenance of watershed, equal utilization of resources by the community. Steps in the implementation of LAPAT. First, it is the declaration and sealing of the LAPAT ordinances through the rituals of Bagawas. This is a prayer by a particular chief or elder, and it's going to ask God to bless the LAPAT areas and to punish those who are going to intrude to the off-limit area. Plus, the sugsog, that is sending a horseman to the neighboring barangays and municipality to inform them of the LAPAT area with the map and ordinances with the chunk of meat. Then community celebration, there's luncheon for everyone who attend it. And then there is also singing of Salim Dumay, that is chanting, and also dancing tadek and paluo. Then after the celebration, it's the implementation of the LAPAT. And then for some years, as agreed upon by the different council of elders, the ban will be lifted for the harvest of forest resources, which is for all community members. Governance of LAPAT is through the Tingguian Lalakay, Council of Elders, as supported by all members of the community. Types of fishing allowed by LAPAT: the use of fish nets, pana or spear, salong, or these are examples of bamboo traps, hook, and sarep, or what we call as community fishing. And the type of fishing not allowed by LAPAT is the use of chemicals, for example, simbos, and also indigenous trees whose bark are being pounded, and then it's going to kill even small pieces, and electric cord. Types of hunting allowed by LAPAT, it's silo or loop, batang or net trap, gun, bito, or pit. And the type of hunting not allowed by LAPAT is saladang, which is a spear tied on a rope, because this is deadly. Anybody who can be trapped by this can be killed, even persons. LAPAT has its benefits. It protects the forest, watershed, wildlife, and freshwater resources to be sustained for the utilization of the present and future generations. It also increases food security with all the protected, for example, root crops, wild vegetables, wild fruits, and other vegetables which are found in the forest and in the river. It sustains watershed areas for domestic purposes, for irrigation, and now for tourism development. LAPAT also prevents logging and mining corporations to enter the areas and explore natural resources. In 1989, there was a group, how do you call that one? There's a particular corporation which came, and the name of that is Mooncrest, and they came to Buklok and also upland municipalities in order to ask permission from the community members that they will be given the chance in order to explore and utilize particularly gold in the mining areas. But the people who were consulted did not agree on this, and they did not allow the people who are from the corporation in order to enter the area. And this is what you call as the free, prior, and informed consent. It's the right of the people in order to manage their natural resources. It's an entry point to sustainable development through livelihood projects, because in the LAPAT areas, there are many resources, like for example, bamboo, different kinds of bamboos. Then we have also grasses, tiger grass, or what we call as talagado, which can be transformed into a soft broom. Then we have also different premium trees like sagat and nara, which can be used for furniture making. There is another one before that. Okay. For the conclusions, LAPAT helps in the preservation of forest, water resources, and also the Tingguian cultural heritage, which is related to it from their beliefs, rituals, practices, and also the values of the Tingguians. Recommendations: indigenous peoples mandated representative from the LGU and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources should help the Lalakay in the LAPAT implementation for the preservation and protection of natural resources. DepEd and CHED should indigenize curriculum with the inclusion of forest conservation systems and other IKPs in order to mold learners or makadiyos, makatao, makabayan, at makakalikasan. Then other ICCs and even non-ICCs may replicate LAPAT in their communities for the protection of the environment. Agyaman na unay. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to the organizers, the coordinator, and also my co-presenters.
Thank you very much for the insightful report, Dr. Elsa. Dear colleagues, do you have questions to Dr. Elsa Bagioan, an expert on the Tingguian tribal culture of the Abra province, the Philippines, regarding this LAPAT system of preserving the environment? Yes, Dr. Elena Frolova, please switch on your sound.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's so interesting. So, for this opportunity to learn more about the culture, traditions, and way of living of the North Cordillera region, because I understand that it's really a very serious problem. This support of the forests and nature in the region. I was there in 2006 and I saw these bold hills and it's without trees and so on. And it's really a very serious problem. And I'm just happy to learn that local people pay so much attention to solving of this problem of the forests in the region. But I have got one question. Do local people really support these programs of LAPAT? And how do they take part in them? Is
So
it
the local
organized
people,
by local government or do they do it through with the help of children in schools and so on? How do they implement this program of supporting nature and planting trees and so on?
so directly, the community members are really supporting the LAPAT, or what you call as this environmental project. So how? By means of participating in the sealing of the agreement. So from the elders going down to the children, they are a part of the celebration, the sealing of the agreement on the protection of the environment through the LAPAT. And then this one is being implemented in the community very faithfully, so that even children are asked in order to do something to protect the environment. So usually the children goes to the field, goes to the forest, and they know that these resources, wherever they go, are very important and this have to be protected. Then in school, they are also being taught because the curriculum is being indigenized. So how is it being included? Usually the LAPAT and other indigenous knowledge systems and practices are integrated in the curriculum, whether in basic school, in DepEd, or in CHED.
Thank you very much. It's really very interesting and very useful, I think, this experience. So maybe even in our country it will be useful to use it. Thank you very much.
Dr. Elsa, thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
And I would like, if possible, to also ask a question regarding the maybe principles or some sorts of system. Is there any system of punishments within the Tingguian community for breaking the rules of LAPAT, for neglecting these restrictions that LAPAT imposes on this or that area? How do they do it within their community?
Oh, yes. Since these are ordinances being formulated by the Lalakay, then shared to the whole community, when there is somebody who is going to violate it, they are given penalty. So for example, if they go to the river and they are going to use electric cord, people are going who witness them or observe them, they are going to report them. And once they are being proven that they have really used electric cord, the electric cord is being confiscated and they are going to butcher the animal which was butchered during the sealing of the agreement among the community members.
I see. Thank you so much. So there is some. I would like to add that Dr. Elsa Bagioan was one of the two speakers who has already shared her vast expertise on the Tingguian culture and during some previous events organized by ASSIST together with IAAS, our institute. We have heard about the Lalakay, the Council of Elders. And I would like to thank you again for sharing your knowledge on this, because for us it's really very informative and we are actually getting this information firsthand from your party. Thank you so much. Dear colleagues, do you have more questions for Dr. Elsa? Maybe students have some questions and are just, yes, please, Christian, Alistair, Tubadesa. I can see your hand.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for acknowledging. Good evening. Here in the Cordillera region, ma'am, I would like to ask an insight from Dr. Bagioan, because here in the Cordillera region, we are bothered by this concerning rising forest fires, in which the forest fires occurs within the ancestral domains of the indigenous communities. Is there any possibility that the LAPAT has to do this to counter this and to prevent this from happening, because it continues to rise from the date of the recent years?
Oh, yes. In the burning of forest, there is also a corresponding penalty for that. There was a case when somebody burned the forest or the Lapat area of Buklok. And what happened? The father of the arsonist was the one who surrendered the son. And he butchered an animal in order to serve as penalty. And at the same time, he really reforested the areas. He asked some people to help them to plant trees in order to substitute or to change the burned trees.
Thank you so much for the question, which is very important for your answer, Dr. Elsa. Do we have more questions? Then again, I would like to thank you on the behalf of all of the whole audience, and maybe we could then proceed to our second Philippine report. I just have to make you co-organizer first. Do we have Mr. Petronilo with us? So this is again with this assist banged, right? Okay, I'll give you the rights of the co-organizer again. Sorry. And while you are starting your presentation, I would like to present the theme of the report. So Mr. Petronilo Elveña, the researcher again from Abra State Institute of Science and Technology, Philippines, with the
Yes,
report, the process of establishing the Bodong system among the Banao, Gubang and Mabaka tribes of the province of Abra. Yes, please, Mr. Petronilo, the floor is yours.
Hello. What can I do? Okay, good evening to everyone. Good evening here from the Philippines. So if we try, actually my presentation, I think this is a cycle of my presentation last March 16, our first online presentation then. If we try to recall the definition we had on the Bodong during our first online conference, we defined Bodong in a verbatim context as a bilateral relationship or bilateral system of relationship between two tribal groups sharing common interests for mutual protection, cooperation, and cooperation, and of course, crime prevention. Bodong practitioners entered into contract for the purpose of protecting the lives and properties of both parties to allow freedom of their citizens to conduct productive activities in areas covered by the Bodong per se, and the incessant torrent of assistance among binodngan or pispak cohorts in cases of danger and experience of jeopardy. Bodong is a peace treaty between two tribes. It is historically an oral tradition. The translation properly means peace treaty. It has long been an institution as ancient as the collective memory of the Tingguians in the municipality of Malibkong that promotes harmony and peace while preserving sturdy rapport and alliances with neighboring villages. It is embedded in the social and material cultures of the Tingguians in the province of Abra, specifically among the three tribes in the municipality of Malibkong, without forgetting indebtedness to their ancestors hailed from the province of Kalinga. It is a way of life to the Tingguians throughout the province of Abra. The Bodong, which was characterized as an archaic oral tradition, did not cease on its first inception, but it is protracted in nature because it is incessantly passed from one generation to the next. What makes the Bodong as a distinct institution is its adaptability, its malleability to acclimatize or adjust to the changing time despite the influx of contemporary social urbanity. Next slide. Okay, so the process and rituals in instituting the Bodong. Okay.
I'm
In the
sorry,
practice of
I'm
the Bodong,
afraid
there
the
are
slides are not
procedures.
moving. I'm sorry, the slides are not moving. At least from my computer, I can't see that the slide has moved. Has it?
Yeah, it doesn't move. Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So in the
Oh, great,
now
thank
I
you.
can proceed. Okay. Okay, in the practice of the Bodong, there are procedures and processes that are religiously being observed and strictly followed. Instituting the Bodong is regulated by rituals. The processes are defined by the rites or ceremonies being done, constituted primarily by the elders, the lalakay, and the notable babaket, elderly women, and participated by the umili or the local people in the tribe. Okay. So the first step is the realization of the sipat and the so-called anlasyo. The sipat and anlasyo are the first step in the establishment of the Bodong. The sipat is the act of inviting other tribe to come up with a peace agreement. When the invited tribe agrees on the proposal, a ritual follows wherein both tribes are entailed to give symbolic items as emblem of acceptance. So I think on the right side, we can see the modern example of sipat during the time that the late Father Conrado Balueg returned back to the fold of the government. The late Father Conrado Balueg SVD was then a member of the New People's Army, and it is the arm wing of the Communist Party of the Philippines. And then he returned Paul to the government. as we can see there. And then there was this sipat that was initiated in, I'm speaking, Mount Data. Okay, so it is a peace between the government and the um the group of Father Conrado Baluweg at the time. Okay, so and this sipat, I think, contributed to the making of the Cordillera as an administrative region. Okay, so where am I now? Okay, so the sipat and alasio are ritually consummated by the tending of each tribe to give primeval armaments as sign of acceptance, or through the alasio exchange of gifts, such as we can see there, it is pointed on the traditional way of the sipat. Okay. So the giving of a bolo, or a spear, or a shield, or bow and arrow. So this exchange of war articles symbolizes the assurance of peace and the ascendancy of mutual acceptance between the two tribes. Okay. So during the sipat, the messengers go home, bringing with them the exchange armaments as a guarantee of reciprocation to proceed with the establishment of the Bodong. Upon arrival in their home tribe, the Council of Elders, headed by the Pangat, calls the Umili or the local people in a meeting to inform the success of the ensued sipat. This is the time that the Council of Elders will choose who would be the Bodong holder, primarily tasked to carry on with the ritualistic celebration and establishment of the Bodong. Next slide, please. Okay. So the second stage is the gabnot. After a year, okay, depending on the preparation made, the second process will proceed, which is the so-called gabnot. The gabnot would literally mean to uproot. Okay, it is the ritualistic course of informing the other tribe about the plan to proceed with establishment or the institution of the Bodong. Usually, it should be noted that the first tribe which initiated the sipat would be the first to host the Bodong celebration. And the Samon tribe will do the sukalit after a year. Sukalit mean, later on we would see the meaning, reciprocation, sukalit, after a year of the initiation of the Bodong. However, this depends on the negotiation and the decision of both parties. Okay. According to the study of Banao, the venue of the said negotiation is either in the village of both parties alternately. So the sukalit is a term of reciprocity through the second round celebration of the Bodong that will be hosted in the tribe of the peaceback partner. In this case, the ritualistic celebration is merely to fortify the instituted Bodong, and if there are to be added in the pagta or the bylaws of the Bodong, then amendment of the pagta would be done. The sukalit is the culmination of peace talks, formalization, validation, proclamation, and acceptance of the terms enacted in the pagta or bylaws done during the prior celebration of the Bodong. After all the preparation is set in place, formal party of messengers consisting of 3 or 7 members will depart to the village of the peaceback partner to convey the message of invitation to the Bodong holder and Bodong initiator to that tribe. The invited tribe, as part of the practice, will host a pangili or welcome celebration to the messengers. When the invited Bodong partners through the Bodong holder of the tribe decided on the date of departure for the celebration of the Bodong, the members of the gabnot, except 1 or 2, shall return to the host village to inform the people about the date of arrival of the invited party. The members of the gabnot left behind shall serve as guide to the invited party. Next slide, please. Okay. So, upon the arrival of the invited party, the ritual of the inum will immediately follow. The inum would literally mean drinking. It is the formal start of the Bodong celebration. The inum is usually done as follows. Okay, we have the pangili. It is a welcome ceremony for the arrival of the Bodong cohorts. It is a festive occasion usually prepared for guests of the tribe by the host community. It is a ritualistic celebration, expression, wholehearted acceptance of the Kabadong. The celebration is usually interspersed by the series of dancing of the traditional dancing, the tadek, the palok, or the patong attributed by the percussion of the gansa or gangs, and the exchanging of poetic odes through the ugayam, dango, and adding backgrounded by the singing of the salidumay or the diwasani by the women. Hence, the ritual of the pangili starts after a short respite of the arrived party. The Bodong cohorts are invited and led to the banglag or among or celebration hall, which is usually adjacent to the house of the Bodong holder, to do shake hands with the host kabodong or pispak cohorts. The handshaking or lamano is accompanied by the unmitigated show of pleasure of acceptance through the continuous percussion of the gansas or gangs, okay, and singing of the indigenous ballads. The pangili is concerted by the dancing of the tadek, which is performed by a pair of a man and a woman, usually between bodong partners, as they dance religiously around the celebration hall, enthralling their steps on the sounds of the gansa. The dancing of the tadek is not swarming dance. The partners prior to the dancing are both given an embroidered prax. We call it a lap or tapis by the alapero, which symbolize the permission to dance the tadek. The dancing is over when the man entices the lady by stretching his hand asking for handshake. The handshake should be done in front of the apayag, which is found at the center of the celebration hall. The tadek dance is a sign of friendship, respect, and acceptance. The next slide. Okay. So, while the celebration of the pangili is at its peak, the ritual of the lanok will interpose. The lanok would literally mean entrance. It is the occasion for both parties to the bodong to air their past issues and grievances against each other if there were such issues. Hence, through the moderated exchange of issues and counter issues, all past grievances are threshed up and ironed out to the full satisfaction of both bodong partners. After the master of ceremony, the mantenedor, has received the final verdict for the panel of discussants through the chosen spokesman, he will then announce that the bodong between the two tribes shall be pursued with the admonition to the public that henceforth anyone who will bring out or raise the settled issues, if there are, shall be punished accordingly. Okay. So the third one is the pagta. The pagta is the law of the bodong that is followed and enforced by each tribe and entered freely and voluntarily to the treaty. Pagta is the basis for resolving crime or misdeed committed by any of the concerned tribe. The ritual in the drafting and crafting of the pagta is customarily done during the second day of the bodong celebration. In the making of the pagta, each tribe chooses its own representatives, usually headed by both tribes' concept elders. Since the pagta is the crucial, pensive, and sensitive part of the bodong partner should choose competent panels necessitated to sit in the table. The drafting of the pagta should be completed within 2 to 3 days, depending on the severity of the issues as basis to craft the statutes and provisions of the pagta. Slide 7. Okay. So after the pagta has been crafted and drafted, the pagta will be read to the whole community in the celebration hall, anticipating a forum, letting the omili or the people to express their comments, substantial recommendation if there are, and if not, their approval is needed. If there are no further issues in the pipeline and it approved by the omili, it is indeed blessed into effect. When any revocation is hence any revocation is repudiated unless there is a grave reason for amendment agreed that will be treated during the sukalit. When the pagta is finalized and approved, the ritual of the pinalayak will follow. Okay. The pinalayak is a symbolic drinking of the aged basi sugarcane wine poured in a panay or antique chinaware placed above 2 inverted wooden mortars. Okay. A pair of elders from both parties with one arm should be placed over the shoulder of each other, squat near the mortars, then with their free hand tilt the panay towards their mouth to drink the aged basi. It is expected that they consume the contents at the same time and rising together and say ah as an expression of satisfaction and good cheer. It is indeed a ritual symbolizes agreement to the pagta, mutual trust, and commitment to protect each other. Slide 8. Okay. So the next is the daikot. Okay. The daikot is the ritualistic of the glutinous rice wrapped in banana leaves, cooked in a vat and saturated with freshly coconut oil. The cooked daikot is called inandila, which is eaten by the Bodong partners in the celebration hall, led by the two Bodong holders of both parties. The daikot symbolizes cohesion and unity, while the lana or the oil symbolizes enduring peace and smooth flowing relationship. Okay. This is usually done on the last day of the Bodong celebration. And we have the linay. This is the last of the rituals in the Bodong celebration. The linay is token gift of money collected by the host tribe as a gesture of friendship and brotherly relation. Okay. Then slide 9. Okay. The inventaryo. The inventaryo means accounting. Since the affair is tribal concern, a big part of the expenses come from the contribution of the community of the host tribe, particularly the nearest relatives of the Bodong holder. The inventaryo is given to the Bodong holder of the other tribe, the Kabodong, to ensure that this will be approximated during the Sukalit. The Sukalit is done right after 1 year. Celebration of the Bodong also be held in the Kabodong's village. Okay. And the apapayag. The apapayag is a ritual ornament in place at the middle of the among or the celebration hall, where partners in the tadok conclude the dancing by handshaking, wherein the hands of the dancers are adjacent between it. It consists of the following items: the liblibon, or a small jar filled with aged basi or sugar cane, the sallok or bamboo pail, the sayang or spear, the kalasag shield, and the baal, or we call it G-string. I cannot find picture that I could place on my own presentation, and sorry for that one. And second to the last slide. Okay. So the dismantling of the apapayag. Okay. At the conclusion of the Bodong ceremony, a pair of tribal leader or warriors or heroes of both parties is selected to air the palpaliwat or the pukaw. The palpaliwat or pukaw is a rendition of heroic deeds in battles by a recognized mingol, delivered in Bochepero's rhythmic and staccato voice, often in hyperbolic language. Okay, there's an archetypal paliwat by the late Felix Lumiwan, Second World War veteran from the Gubang tribe. I think if you can enlarge it, sir. It is translated into English. Okay, so this one I think you can see it. Okay. I just want to read the first paragraph. Say, let me sing my war exploit to the apapayag. I am Felix Lumiwan, fearless and valiant. Every step on the ground, helpless heads of Japanese soldiers were cracked down. When I was young, I belonged to the Filipino-American great warriors during the Second World War. Every daybreak, we attacked and slew Japanese soldiers. I felt no fears at all because I was among great warrior. And I think that is a line from the pukaw or the paliwat. Okay, next slide. Okay, so under the dismantling of the apapayag, we have two elements there. We have the dongsat. The dongsat literally means to dismantle. A day after the Bodong cohorts, the Bodong would have left, the community folks of the host tribe will undertake the dongsat, consisting primarily of the men in the community. The dongsat is a tearing down of all structures used in the celebration hall. Okay. And then, of course, the last one, we have the Paloksad. This is the going away farewell celebration for the Pispak partner o Bodong, given by the host community held at the next near village or barangay. The Paloksad, like the Pangili, consists of dancing of the Tadok, chanting of the Gayam or Ading and Balad, singing among the older folks and drinking of Basi. This is a whole night activity until 6 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so thank you very much for my simple presentation.
Thank you so much for this very, very detailed and informative and interesting report. And this is really for the first time that me and I think my colleagues as well have learned so much about this ceremony of the Tingguian tribes. Dear colleagues, please prepare your questions and please allow me to ask the first one. Regarding this inventario, as Dr. Ramil as well has noted, did we understand it in the right way that the organizers of the Bodong ceremony are making, together with their the invited guests, are making sort of a list of what has been prepared for this Bodong, what kind of gifts have been given to the guests, to the second party of this. Did I get it right that this is for these guests to be able to organize the next ceremony, which you mentioned, singil or something like this, at the same level, not to lower down the level of the hospitality, etc. Is it right? Did I get it right?
Exactly.
Ah.
Exactly, ma'am.
Oh.
Because in the Sukalit, I think
Sukalit.
the next
Mhm.
host, okay, will be if there are certain spending that they have done on that, they should also equalize that what they have spent during the first celebration of the Budong.
This is
And
very
I think that is the
practical.
essence of the Sukalit. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Ramil from the Kazan State University has put it here in the chat box that he wishes Western civilizations had such a tradition like Bodong nowadays. I agree with you, Ramil. I think we need it to make it as peaceful as possible. Dear colleagues, do you have some comments or questions? Maybe I can't see some one of them. Please just voice out your question. Maybe I just can't see the hands raised.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a very interesting talk and presentation. Only, well, not being a specialist in the Philippines, yeah, because I'm dealing with Malaysia and Malays mostly, yeah. Probably I do not know certain, say, basic things. So may I ask, please, if, well, Tingguians, as I understand, they do preserve a greater part of a tradition that might be called, say, still maybe animistic in certain things, yeah? Are there Christians, or, well, do they still cling to their tribal traditions? Yeah, I mean, animistic as well, yeah? This is what I wanted to ask. As
Yes. So the question is
whether they are, say, devout Christians, or they still preserve their animistic beliefs, partially at least.
In the parlance of Christianity, ma'am, I think is what we call
Syncretic.
the integration. Can I coin it as an integration? It's the acceptance of this belief of the indigenous people. Okay. Yes, the acceptance of the belief of this indigenous people especially in the Cordillera in one way or the other, and I think there are no certain conflicting ideas with regard to the Christian faith, because if you try to go deeper on the philosophical perspective on what they are doing, I think all the practices that they are doing is always attuned to their relationship to their God, which is kabunyan. Okay, we are speaking here in the context of the olden times, not now in the modern days, because this already, of course, in the advent of Christianity, I think this kind of practices is already regulated. That's why the Tinggian culture is adaptive. It is malleable in context because of its nature to become adaptive with the contemporary context. Okay, and I think that's my certain realization about this one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Dr. Frolova, please, Dr. Elena.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this very interesting presentation. And I have got a question as usual about the languages. So are local languages used in any way in schools, in local schools? And do young people and children know their indigenous languages? Do they support this tradition, linguistic tradition, not only cultural? Thank you very much.
I think this is the challenge of the present educational struggle that we have right now. That's why we have different kind of programs. I think it is being introduced by CHED to incorporate in our curricula the
So Tinggian
the
language
study
is
of
used in some way in schools.
If your question is if I think if the Tinggian language is used in the school,
Yes.
yes, I think
Uh-huh.
we have the program in the Deaf Ed. We call it the
Uh-huh.
mother tongue. I think
I see.
that was also.
So it's so nice that they know not only the children have an opportunity to know not only traditions but their languages, local languages. Thank you very much.
Professor Petronilo, in terms of the ritual itself within the Bodong ceremony, you have mentioned some chanting, right? Could you please tell if it's some kind of chanting of a part of some traditional epics, or are there some kind of short traditional songs? What kind of chanting is it? Is it something which is derived from the old epics? Or just songs, short?
Yes, it is a chanting that if you try to correlate it with the modern time, we have this rapping.
No, I am not trying to correlate. I'm trying to correlate it with some other epics like Panay epics. They are still chanting some parts of it during their ceremonies. And what about you? Is it something that we could attribute to epics, or they are traditional songs but short ones?
Yes. For example, the Ugayam, the Dango, and the Ading. These are what you call this? These are actually you cannot describe them as a song because they usually it is a yodeling rather. Okay, it is a yodeling. It is not a song. It could not be described as a song because it is a yodeling. It is a yodeling that is being compounded by rhythmic or there's a rhythm about it, and I think the words that are being used on it, they are meaningful as such, even though they are short. The intrinsic meaning, it could be easily understood by the people who are who are hearing this kind of express word in the form of the ugayam or the ading or the dango.
Mhm.
And I think we have two forms of this one. The joyous, it is sung during the joyous occasion. We have the ugayam, the ading, and the dango. And during what you call this burial occasion, that you cannot sing this kind of yodeling. There is certain lamentation happening. We have the alabaab also, which is pertaining to the departed one. Okay.
Prof. Petronilo, could you please recommend any kind of publications, if there are some, about these different types of yodeling, about these different types of oral chanting? Where can we find such information and to read more about this? Is there any publications?
Thank you very much for that. I think I am going to accept that as a recommendation and as a challenge for us also to research. If I accept I am a Tingguian, but I'm still struggling to know deeper my own culture.
Oh, thank you so much. In case
And I'm not expert
you decide to write about it, please let us know. Maybe we could secure some space in the Moskovsky Universitet, our Vestnik journal Herald of the Moscow University, because it's really such a rare information that you, as a specialist, I think it's a must that you write about this as well. Not so many people check our Nusantara Society channel in YouTube, so not so many people would be able to listen to this lecture, and I think it should be published sometime.
And then give us at least 1 year.
Yeah.
Maybe, because there are, I think, doing such research, I think it's very, very pensive. We ask also certain information from the NCIP regarding conducting a research for indigenous studies.
We wish you good luck with this, and we'll be waiting for the results. Thank you. Dear colleagues, do you have more questions for Professor Petronilo Elveña, another specialist on the Tingguian culture in the Abra University Institute? Thank you so much again, Dan, for your invaluable speech, and may I give the floor to Dr. Evgeny Kukushkina again for the concluding remarks of our Nusantara Society Seminar.
Thank you, Dr. Baklanova. Truly, I think I just have to conclude that our international seminar has been very, very successful, because every contribution was full of invaluable information, not only very precious, important for those people interested in these particular topics, but for all of us, because, such interdisciplinary communication actually helps us a lot, enhancing our studies, our interest in our field, and it is very, very important to know for a specialist in literature to know at least partially what's happening in linguistic and ethnography. And of course, if we are the country, the culture of our interest is Malay, we must use the precious opportunity to to acquire new knowledge on the Philippines, a neighboring country where we can draw so many valuable parallels. I am deeply grateful to everyone who participated, of course, especially to our respected contributors. Thank you so much. But also to everyone who is attending our event today, and it really inspires us not to stop here, but to continue the line of these events. And you are always welcome at our seminars, and we hope to go on with them. I must also express gratitude again, of course, to our administration of the Institute of Asian and African Countries, but also mostly to Dr. Ekaterina Baklanova, who, was so very active and efficient and put so much effort into organizing the event. So thank you again, and see you at our following seminars. We will always inform you. And so thank you for our foreign guests and to our colleagues, Nusantara members. Thank you so much. Be in good health and good mood, everyone.
May I ask to finally open up the videos of those who can do this? Maybe we could make a joint picture of the audience.
Okay, who have camera working, probably we can do this.
I will try to make some photo when we are seen. Just a few minutes for this. Okay, thank you so much, so that I just don't take you long. Thank you very much again, and welcome to our new Nusantara Society seminars. Okay.
Thank you. See everyone. Bye.